Hello, language learners. Have you tried over and over and over again to learn a language and then you always just give up and you can't figure out why and you want to make a change, but you just don't know how? That describes you. You're in the right place. This video is for you. In this video, I want to talk about why that happens. I want to talk about the 3 different situations in which I see this happening with struggling language learners who can't seem to stick to their language learning long term. And at the end, I want to tell you what you should do instead. In my experience, these are the biggest reasons why language learners give up. And if you want to stop giving up, if you want to stick to it until you actually accomplish your goals, these are things that you need to stop doing. The first reason why language learners tend to give up is because they keep getting excited over a shiny new app. And this happens for a variety of different reasons. They get excited because they found a new discount, or it was recommended to them, or their marketing was really good, all sorts of things. If you experienced this insane level of excitement for a new language app and then very quickly that motivation just kind of dies and you think it's your fault, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. It might seem perfectly logical to try a new app for all these different reasons if you found a discount or is recommended to you by a friend, but I can tell you from personal experience, that ain't it. First of all, one big reason is that discounts are a dime a dozen. As somebody who's been around and has tried more language learning apps and resources than most people have, I can tell you for a fact that discounts are not hard to come by. In fact, literally, in every single one of my YouTube videos, I have a huge list of discounts available. That doesn't mean that those language apps that are mentioned in every single one of my YouTube descriptions are my favorite apps. They're not necessarily. A lot of my favorite apps, I don't have discounts for you. That shouldn't be the number one big reason why you try an app. It's the same kind of thing with recommendations that you get from friends, family members, language learning influencers, a review of an app that you found on the web, all sorts of things. It makes sense theoretically that, somebody who you know personally used this app to learn whatever language, or somebody who has learned many, many languages and has made their entire life language learning like myself, it makes sense that you would take that advice and use that to direct where you're spending your time, your effort, your money, what have you. But the problem is that all these people, they don't know what you need. You probably don't know what you need, and that's fine. The problem is that every language learner needs something different, and most people can't tell you that. You have to learn that for yourself. This is the kind of thing that I teach my clients, is how to take an objective look at different language learning resources to understand logically, rationally, which language resources they need. But some random stranger on the internet doesn't know that. Your best friend doesn't know that. Your friend who speaks the language natively definitely doesn't know that. So when you depend on things like discounts, like recommendations, like a really exciting ad that you found online to base all of your motivation on, it's gonna fall flat because it's not based on something realistic. It's based on the hope of something, the hope that's been advertised to you, the hope that's been given to you. But eventually that hope is going to disappoint you. I'm sorry. But if you're watching this video, you've probably experienced this. And that is a huge, 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 huge reason why so many language learners give up, because they don't have anything real to keep them going. They got excited over a discount. They got excited over 5-star reviews. They got excited because some influencer talked about this app and sold you this app. And it's a really sad cycle that I see people in all the time. That kind of excitement is not gonna last you long term. That kind of excitement will last you a few days, maybe a couple weeks. It's the same kind of idea where, you're so excited for the new iPhone to come out, and then as soon as you get it, you're excited for a few days. But then 6 months go by and it's just a phone. You're not excited about it anymore. You're looking to the next iPhone or the next tablet or the next computer or whatever it is. You're constantly chasing the next thing because you're not focused on what it is that you need. And while that's fine and dandy for iPhones, for language learning, that's a lot of trouble. That's big trouble. The second reason why language learners give up is that they depend on things like New Year's resolutions and summer breaks and Veterans Day sales or whatever it is for their motivation. We're kind of trained to see these new phases of time, of life, or whatever it is as a new start, as a new opportunity to lose the weight, to start reading more, to learn a language, to, spend more time with our family. We are trained to look at these new phases of life to do that. Unfortunately, that generally doesn't work. Depending on that, saying that, starting in 2022, I'm going to do this. Starting on, April 1st, I'm going to start doing this, and expecting that change to continue for the long term, that don't really work. And the same kind of people who get a gym membership and then stop going after 2 weeks, those are the same people who start up Duolingo or start up Baselang or whatever app in the new year. They don't stick to it. They stick to it for like a few days, a week, week and a half maybe, but it's the same kind of thing. You're just not going to continue with that change long term for the most part. Some people are lucky to be able to do that, but generally speaking, a lot of language learners give up because they see this new shift in time and life and phase and season and, whatever it is, and they hope and they expect and they want for that change of phase to be a change in themselves. And it doesn't work. I'm sorry. And then the third reason why I see so many language learners give up all the time is because they are chasing fluency. I hate that word. I try to avoid it. I really do. I slip up a lot and I'm working on it, but I try to avoid the word fluent. And I avoid the word fluent because it doesn't mean anything concrete. The term fluency becomes just like this mystical idea of something vaguely unattainable and vaguely magical that other people can do and have done and want to theoretically teach you how to do, but will generally always be unattainable. I mean, at least that's how I've always seen fluency. And I mean, this point links back to the first point about the new language app that teaches you that this one will teach you to be fluent in 2 weeks or 30 days or whatever it is. Chasing fluency becomes this, like I said, hypothetical goal that doesn't really mean anything concrete. It's exciting at first to decide that, I'm going to be fluent in French, I'm going to be fluent in Chinese, and it's really, really exciting for like maybe a couple of days. But then eventually as time goes on, instead of I'm going to be fluent, I want to be fluent, you start thinking, well, is this strategy working for me? Well, am I spending enough time doing this? Am I able to do this? Am I getting closer to fluency? How long will it take to get fluent? What do I need to do to get fluent? What movies should I be watching in order to get fluent? And you start thinking all these things that seem to knock you off course. I mean, they do knock you off course, but the reality of it is that you weren't on course to begin with. You didn't have a course. You just had like a general movement towards this hypothetical concept that isn't really fully fleshed out. It's like a unicorn, It's like looking for gold at the end of the rainbow. Like you see a rainbow and you think, wow, that's amazing. I would love to like go to the end of that rainbow and find that gold. And so you start trekking, and you're like, wow, how much longer until I get to this pot of gold? How much is in this pot of gold? How long will it take? What should I do with it when I get it? Like, is this worth it? I'm getting thirsty. I need to go home. I miss my family, all sorts of things. It seems like a ridiculous metaphor, I know, but I really think we should be considering fluency, that kind of like mythical pot of gold at the end of the rainbow where we're always so far away from it. We really never seem to be getting closer to it. And when you constantly chase fluency, every single time you try to learn a language again, you're gonna end up in the same cycle where you give up after a few days. So those are the 3 big mistakes that I see language learners make, 3 of the big mistakes that I help my clients to stop making. How do you stop making that mistake? What do you do? If trying a new app, if, starting a New Year's resolution, if trying to get fluent, if those 3 things don't work, then what does work? Have I got like an epiphany for you? The big difference between those kinds of strategy changes and those goal setting ideas that don't work and the ones that do work is the difference between extrinsic and intrinsic motivation. So you'll notice with all those things that I said in this video thus far, those are extrinsic factors. Those are depending on an app. Those are depending on the time of the year that it is. That's depending on, this concept of fluency that, you want to achieve, that other people have achieved and you want to be there. Those are external factors. If you want to stop giving up, if you want to actually make your way towards your language learning goals in the long term, you got to start depending on intrinsic factors, factors within you that you control, that guide you. What do you want to accomplish? What do you like to do? What kind of struggles do you have in your language learning and in your life? What kind of things make you happy? What kind of things don't make you happy? These kinds of intrinsic factors will really push you over that hump and get you focused on long-term efforts, not short-term efforts, not depending on when high tide comes in or what time the sun is setting tomorrow. Not those extrinsic factors that, they sound really exciting and really motivating, but when you really get down to it, it's depending on external factors, things that you cannot control, and things that at the end of the day don't really have that much effort on us, on our lives. And that right there is the secret to sticking to your language learning long term. Stop depending on external factors, stop thinking about internal factors. And if you want to learn more about that, I do have a free training for you. Go check the link below in the description box of absolutely free training where I go into exactly what that means. But that is all I have for this video. In the comment section below, let me know, are you stuck in that cycle where you keep trying, keep giving up over and over and over again? And if you're not anymore, what did you do to get out of that cycle? Other than that, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video every Wednesday and Sunday. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.